Hey trackies, welcome back to another video here on TXT Track Time. Please remember to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. So trackies, the World Athletic Championships for 2023 in Budapest, Hungary has come to an end. Yes, and you can't change one of the results. So Jamaica has not won the women's 100 meters. Get over it. No, with that said, trackies, there are a few moments for me personally from a Jamaican perspective that really stood out at these championships. And one athlete in particular, better believe it or not, is Kevona Davis. For me, she left me flabbergasted at these championships and, of course, did something, in my opinion, that a lot of Jamaicans have been waiting to see Kevona do for years. Now, of course, I'm going to get into what Kevona did. But before we get to that, I want to talk about, her performance at the championships. So she participated in both the heats and the semifinals at the World Championships. And in the first round, the heats, she ran in a negative win. Let's not forget that 22.49 seconds. So this is, some way, mid 22s, when you put it down to zero win, but still a very impressive run from Kevona Davis in the first round. And then in the second round, still in a negative win, not that much, but she ran 22.34 seconds in this race. Now, she did not progress to the finals because she placed fifth in her semi-final race. But still, for me, trackies, what I saw from Kevona left me utterly flabbergasted. Now, let's go, back a little bit, to earlier on in the season. Now you had Kevona Davis, participating in the NCAA championships, and she was performing well when it came down to the end of the NCAA system championships going on over there, the outdoor championships. She was able to place third in that final, and she ran a time of 22.02 seconds. It was a positive win, above the allowable 2.5, but still it was a very phenomenal performance. But a lot of Jamaicans kept pointing out one particular fact that Kevona is pretty much running with all the talent she has in the world. We have yet to see, and I mean, it's been maybe 3 years now, in her, college career, and we have yet to see any improvements on Kevona Davis's start. No, heading into the championships, that's the Jamaican championships. Of course, for me personally, Kevona was into my top ladies for the women's 200 meters that could figure into things and potentially get onto the Jamaican team. Now, we did hear her coach come out and say, he's realized that he's receiving a lot of backlash as it relates to, Kevona's progress. And this is where he, I think, tried to play us a little bit in my mind. But still, he said he's working, backwards with Kevona because she has some confidence issues. So he's working backwards with her. For the life of me, I don't know what that meant, but yes, he said he's working backwards with her. So that is why we have not seen any progress in her, technique so far over the years. And especially, track is the part that we are talking about is Kevona's start. Now, for if a lot of people remember, Kevona's always had, quote unquote, a bad start. You know what I mean? No drive phase to really speak of. She just gets up and runs, and powers through. She's one of those power sprinters, in my opinion. But yeah, that's pretty much what we were used to from Kevona Davis from high school days. But we are expecting, once, she started to matriculate onto college, we'd see, slight changes, in terms of making that section of her race better. Again, we saw no such thing from Kevona Davis. So we kept saying, listen, if Kevona Davis is this good, you know what I mean, off the back of having, no drive face to really speak of, just imagine how good she could potentially get, once she has that start. And again, I kept throwing out, yes, we probably won't see fix that start until maybe she leaves college because it looks like they have no intention of fixing it. Or maybe, they can only focus on one athlete at a time. I've talked about this where I don't really agree with this whole focus on one athlete at a time. I'm not going to lie. It looks as though Julian Alfred is getting all the attention. So I'm like, all right, Kevona, you're probably just gonna have to wait, join a club later on, and of course, we will see some changes there. But she was still doing the best she could with what she had. So that's what happened at the NCAA Outdoor Championships. Now move forward again to Budapest 2023. Now this is where I had to be giving the coach a side eye. I'm excited, but still giving the coach a side eye. So the space between the Jamaican National Championships and, of course, the championship kicking off in Budapest was, pretty much a month and a half, trackies. That's what pretty much Kevona and every other athlete had to do final preparations to head to the championships at their absolute best. And track is, I'm not gonna lie, what Kevona did left me, as I said, utterly flabbergasted and excited as well for the future, because this is what they were able to do with Kevona within a month and a half. Lets me question what they were doing with Kevona all these years, and makes me even believe even more that, coach was playing us. But still, let's take a look at Kevona. So this is Kevona in heat one. This is her right there, and I'm gonna have to pause it each time. So as you can see, Kevona pretty much has a really good start. Now, if it's one thing about the 200 meters is that you have to pretty much run that bend, pretty much how you'd run it in a finals, and then if you need to cruise, then you cruise after you get off the bend, right? So this is Kevona coming off the bend. This is the race, the 22:49 race, right? So this is Kevona coming off the bend. Now look at this Kevona here, utterly shocking and surprising everybody in this race, as far as I'm concerned, as a Jamaican, with her performance off the bend. But again, if you're not impressed by what she did in the heat, I'm going to let you take a look at the semi-final. This is where it really shows how good her start really has become. So let's go over to the semi-final. This is the semi-final right here. That's Kevona getting out of the blocks. All right. Not really a good angle right now, but when you see it turn, you're gonna see how much she was able to make up the stagger on the athlete outside of her, and of course the rest of the field, including none other than Julian Alfred, the athlete that she's been losing to all season. Start, finish, everywhere she's been losing to Julian Alfred. Not so anymore. Now take a look. There we have Kevona. Okay, now you can start to see there she is eating into that stagger on the curve onto the athlete outside of her. I believe this was Coney. And as you can see right here, that is Julian Alfred right there in the middle of the track in the blue top. And of course, there is Kevona Davis with the yellow top on her. Let's keep going. You're going to see when Kevona comes off this bend that she's surprisingly ahead of Julian Alfred in this case. I think the only athlete that comes off ahead of her is Daryl Nita. So this is Kevona Davis, clearly a brilliant bend by her, even defeating a fast starter like Julian Alfred, which again left me very, very surprised. Now, towards the end of the race, of course, she did fade, and I'm going to attribute that to possibly, it's just a long season. It's a long season. So, and clearly, if she's learning something new, the race distribution probably isn't, together just yet, but there's hints of a possibility, and that's a possible great 2024 season for Kevona Davis. Again, remember, Shelly has now stepped out of the 200 meters. There's open slots there. Well, if Elaine gets back, it may be just one open slot, but it's still an open slot nonetheless that someone can step into. And personally, when I'm looking at this, run from Kevona Davis here at the championship jockeys, I'm not going to lie. Kevona Davis is definitely the one to look out for, in my opinion, come 2024. Why? Because apparently it seems now her coach has finally begun to work on her start, and it's clearly working. We saw two great executions from Kevona Davis at the World Championships just a month and a half away from the national championships, where Kevona Davis was a shadow of what she did, at the NCAAs. But still, and I'm talking about in terms of times, but still, when we watched her at the trial, she still had the same issue she's always had, which was, not really a good start. What we're seeing here is a different Kevona, a very, very different Kevona that I'm excited to see, progress into 2024. But anyway, Trackies, you tell me now in the comment section below, what did you make of Kevona's, championships in Hungary? Is she one of your big highlight moments for Team Jamaica going forward into the future? Remember, I said to me, I felt like this championship was a championship of ushering in the new, and clearly Kevona Davis is one of those new athletes that we will be able to look forward to. I mean, finally living up to the potential that we've seen from her for years, and been hoping and praying, that she will, amount to a world beater one day. And it looks like this world beater is right, around the corner. Anyway, sound off in the comment section, like the video, and also subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.